What is up, y'all? It's your boy Charles in this world. We are checking out Fatal Attraction, guys. Hit that thumbs up button. I'm gonna come back with my reaction. These shows be good as hell.
He was a rising star on the local music scene.
He was known throughout the community. The type of guy that men wanted to be and women wanted to be with.
But he was more than just a local celebrity.
He was raising his daughter on his own.
He was a good person, just doing right by the community and his family.
So when he's gunned down, shockwaves roll through the whole town.
911. Where?
Police find him lifeless in her arms. Who would kill this man in cold blood?
Investigators struggle to find answers.
He was a pillar of the community.
They were starting out with no leads.
Until a trail of breadcrumbs points to a lethal conspiracy.
This appeared to be a targeted homicide.
There had to be multiple people involved.
There was a mastermind behind it.
Girl,
But will the killers escape justice?
always a woman.
The investigators don't have any hard evidence. He was that manipulative and that good at getting people to do his bidding.
There's no trade-off.
Easton, Pennsylvania, a charming city on the western shore of the Delaware River.
The city of Easton has some very old history. It's a small but fairly populous town.
When you drive through it, you feel like it's one of those places you'll see in a Hallmark movie.
It is very peaceful.
And on the night after Thanksgiving, many Easton residents are finishing up their Black Friday shopping.
Easton has been revitalized. There are so many wonderful restaurants and businesses in the downtown area.
Susan Thornton, however, is at home, waiting for her friend Irvin Holton to arrive.
Irvin Holton was a DJ, and Susan Thornton had agreed that Irvin could use her car to get all the equipment he needed to an event that Friday night.
They were good friends. She was helping them out.
And about 5:40, Susan gets a call from Irvin saying that he's arriving.
Hey, you almost here?
Yeah, I'm walking up now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be right there.
But suddenly, she hears a series of loud bangs.
Every year on Black Friday, there's an event in town to kick off the Christmas season.
It's a very celebratory time in downtown Easton. It's not uncommon for fireworks to be lit off.
But when she steps outside, she realizes that what she heard wasn't fireworks.
Susan opens the door and finds Irvin in a pool of blood.
He was shot multiple times.
43-year-old Irvin Holton was the kind of person who made friends everywhere he went.
He's a great guy.
He was always positive, always happy,
Nice.
the kind of person that anybody would want to spend time with.
Irvin lived in Easton, Pennsylvania for the past 20 years.
He liked the slower pace of life there compared to where he grew up in Washington, D.C.
He considered it his home.
Easton was also where he made a name for himself as a DJ.
Everybody refers to Irvin as DJ E, and he was known throughout the community.
When you came to one of his parties, everybody knew you was going to have a really great time.
But Irvin was adored by the community for more than just his DJing skills.
He was a giving person. He loved to entertain, not just for the local clubs, but also volunteering his time and his services for different parties and events.
He was doing things for people's weddings, just out of the goodness of his heart.
But there was something DJ E loved even more than performing: his family.
He was a single dad raising his daughter alone.
Irvin took his role as a father very seriously.
Hey, so the girl, his daughter, ain't had nobody else after he got, put to his demise. Who raised his daughter? This is crazy. This is starting to get sad. Hit that thumbs up button, y'all.
He made sure that aside from DJing, he took a factory job just to make sure that she had everything she needed.
She was just his whole world.
Because of his efforts, she excelled and was an honor student in her class.
Baby girl, a jacket.
Oh, thank you, Dad.
You're welcome.
But between raising his daughter and working 2 jobs, Irvin was left with little time for a love life until he met Janice.
Janice Walters was working as a waitress at a local restaurant.
She was working an event that Irvin was DJing, and he caught her eye.
Can I request a song?
Anything for you.
He has this presence of like a local celebrity.
He really showed you what it means to be a cool type of guy.
I bet you get girls' numbers all the time.
I usually don't call back, but for you, I will.
And before long, they were spending all of their free time together.
From the moment that Irvin met Janice, they were inseparable. It's like it just was magic. They had so much of a connection.
And to Irvin, Janice appeared to be the perfect addition to his family.
A white girl.
He was really...
Not that it doesn't matter. I guess where he was at, he was in a little small town, usually what you end up finding.
building the life he had always wanted.
Oh my God! But now, Irvin Holton has been shot down on the doorstep of his friend Susan's home.
Her first thought is to try to render him some type of aid.
Well, she grabbed anything she had handy to try and stop the bleeding.
Help! Call 911! Thankfully, her neighbor was home and heard her yelling.
He's been shot.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
911.
Somebody got shot. Somebody got shot.
All right, where was he shot at?
It looks like he's shot in the chest. He's died, man.
Easton police officers arrive at the scene within minutes, but they're already...
Okay, I'm jumping to conclusion. What they gonna try to say? That the white girl did it? Is that what happened? Did she do this?
Too late.
Police find Susan cradling Irvin lifeless in her arms.
Yeah. It's the county.
What's up?
Okay, there's been a shooting in Easton.
Is person alive or dead?
Dead.
Irvin was declared dead at the scene, and homicide investigators were immediately called in.
And it doesn't take them long to rule out one theory.
When investigators searched Irvin's pockets, they realized that he had a wallet full of $150.
It was apparent that this was not a random robbery.
He was shot multiple times.
The last shot was fired at close range.
This was an execution.
Somebody sent the message.
43-year-old single father Irvin Holton was living his dream in Easton, Pennsylvania as a popular DJ known as DJ E.
DJ E never let success and the admiration get to his head. He was humble enough to throw free parties for different events.
He's showing people you can be a business person, you can have fun, but you can still look out for your friends and community.
He was also looking out for his family.
Irvin was raising his daughter on his own.
He was a good person, just doing right by the community and doing right by his family.
And despite his busy schedule, he always made time for his new girlfriend, Janice Walters.
The relationship that Irvin had with Janice was a relationship where he could be who he genuinely was, different from what everyone saw in the spotlight.
But now, instead of building a future together, Irvin Holton lies dead outside his friend's home.
A man sometimes with a woman he can be kind of vulnerable with, like, you know what I'm saying, and she don't see him as being weak, but just being a little bit vulnerable. You know what I'm saying, which is a part of being human, whatever that means.
Irvin Holton was gunned down in the middle of the street on that Friday evening.
And Easton homicide detectives are quickly able to rule out a couple of potential scenarios.
When investigators showed up on the scene, they noticed that there were multiple gunshots to Irvin's body.
He had been hit several times in the legs, but the fatal wound was to his chest.
The shot to his chest wasn't just a drive-by shooting. It was at a point-blank range.
He wasn't shot by an armed robber either.
He had his wallet on him. He had cash in his pockets.
This wasn't a robbery gone wrong.
This appeared to be a targeted homicide.
As detectives examine the area around his body, they make another discovery.
Detectives found several shell casings at the scene, and they noticed there were 2 different calibers.
He's got 2 guns.
Yep. At the scene, it was determined that there was 2 shooters.
Somehow, these perpetrators knew he was going to be there.
Now the question is, why?
What's the motive for this horrific crime?
Who would intentionally kill a guy like Irvin?
They hope to get answers from the last person to see Irvin alive, Susan Thornton.
Susan was in a state of complete shock. Out of nowhere, she had to desperately try to keep one of her good friends from bleeding out on her doorstep.
For her to witness something horrific like that and to hold this gentleman in her arms and when he's taking his last breath, for the rest of your life, that picture stays in your mind.
Pulling herself together, Susan tells investigators that Irvin wanted to borrow her car to get to an event he was DJing.
Susan Thornton had agreed that Irvin could use her car so he could transport all of his equipment to the show.
He called me right before he...
Did he seem upset at all?
No, he was excited for his show.
He ran up on him.
When detectives asked Susan, do you know of anybody that would want to hurt him? She said, no, this is a stand-up guy. He's loved by everybody.
But before detectives wrap up their interview with Susan, she is able to give them a name.
He's got a new girlfriend, too. She may know more.
Do you know her name?
Yeah, Janice Walters.
Investigators look at the person that's closest to them, the person that they spent the most time with, to get as much information as you possibly could.
Obviously, they wanted to talk to Janice.
Would you happen to have her number?
Yes, I do.
Detectives have their starting point, but as they're leaving the crime scene, they're handed a more promising lead.
A person approached the detectives on the scene.
He said he was with Irvin before the shot had happened.
Irvin had been hanging out with his friend Tommy Payne in a different section of Easton. Irvin needed to get over to St. Joseph Street so he could go visit Susan Thornton.
Tommy says he'd driven Irvin to a convenience store across the street from Susan's home.
They wanted to grab some beer to take to Irvin's show that night.
Mr. Holton walked in, he kind of made a loop through the business and then said to his buddy, hey, I'm going to go across the street and pick up a car. And Tommy stayed there.
While he was in the store, Tommy heard a series of bangs.
Tommy didn't think it was gunshots that he heard.
I heard pop, pop. I thought it was fire. I'm like, that's ain't nobody shooting.
But just to be sure, he called Irvin's phone.
I said, let me call E to make sure, because that sound kind of close. I said, let me call E to make sure he's okay.
But Irvin didn't answer.
So Tommy actually walks outside and sees Irvin's collapse outside of Susan's residence.
I heard a scream, he was laying down.
But that wasn't all he saw.
He sees 2 figures dressed in dark clothing running from the scene.
He didn't see any faces or anything specific, but what he did know was that they were all dressed in black.
Whoever it was, they knew he was going to have to get that car. You just got to figure out, you know what I mean?
He explained to them that Irvin was a stand-up guy, and he didn't know anybody that would want to harm him.
With one possible exception.
He told police that the only guy that probably would have a problem with Irvin was Keith Poole.
He tells police that the 2 men had been in a dispute for a very long time.
But recently, the feud had escalated.
There was an altercation.
Keith pulled a gun on him.
He'd threatened Irvin's life.
The holiday times can be...
Hey man, if y'all can finish watching this shit on Fatal Attractions on YouTube. Anyway, y'all, what y'all think about this, man? There's some crazy stuff that's going on with that dude, Irvin. I think the girl might have something to do with it. I'm gonna watch some more of this shit probably later, but anyway, if y'all want to go ahead and watch the rest of it, go ahead and check it out on YouTube. Man, if y'all want to see more of my reactions, subscribe to the channel, Charles and Ed's World. Appreciate it, guys. And don't set nobody up. Just, don't do that. Don't set nobody up. Just leave. If you don't want to be with the person, don't Don't kill him. Just leave.